Hello, I'm Darren again. Today's topic is looking at the sometimes subtle, sometimes hidden signs of rejection, withdrawal, abandonment, and disconnection that narcissistic people engage in whenever they're devaluing their partners. Now, it's not a nice feeling or a nice situation to be in whenever you're being devalued, but it is generally easy to spot. There could be criticism, silent treatment, accusations, sometimes even open hostility. But there can also be little subtle signs that aren't always that easy to spot, at least not at first. And the reason why they can be difficult to spot is because the withdrawal isn't always physical in the sense that they just get up and leave. Nor is it an open rejection. The partner isn't being told to clear off or something. They just seem distracted, preoccupied, distant. It's like there's something on their mind. It's like they're so deep and meaningful or something. And if those little rejections were taken at face value, well, they might even seem normal, not unreasonable, because there are times when all of us can be a little bit tired, distracted, or really just not in the mood. So in this video, I'll give a few examples of some of those little subtle signs, but also some of the motivations behind them. So if you find this topic to be interesting, please consider subscribing. So the first example could be maybe the partner just wants to spend some time with them or just wants to talk to them, but they seem preoccupied. They don't really engage in the conversation. They're not really listening. Maybe they just give generic answers. Or perhaps they're watching television and the partner comes in, sits down beside them, but they get up and leave. They go find something else they suddenly have to do, something that requires their attention. But every time the partner comes near, they seem distracted somehow. Another example could be when there are changes of plans at the last moment. The narcissistic person develops a headache or an illness of some kind, so whatever has been arranged either has to be cancelled or the partner has to go alone. Next, the partner might reach out for a hug or a kiss, but they turn away. They maybe start talking about something else, something that's preying on their mind as a means of deflection. They may even start talking about their ex as a way of keeping the current partner at an emotional arm's length. Now, the partner can generally sense that something isn't right because they do seem distant, distracted, disconnected. But if they were to ask what's wrong, well, the narcissist might just say nothing is wrong. They don't know what you're talking about. Or they could give a story about how concerned they are about something or someone else. It's like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and the partner just wouldn't understand. So they are rejecting the partner, but only for a moment and not personally. So the partner is still there, feeling concern and wondering what they can do to make things better. And lastly, there could be no responses to text messages or phone calls. Certainly not in the way there used to be. And it's not that they're too busy like they're at work or something. Maybe they just send one-word answers in response, eventually, when they get around to it. So there are just some general examples of subtle rejection. But what's going on? Well, there can be several reasons, one of which could be after a deep personal conversation where maybe the partner shares their thoughts, their feelings, a narcissistic person might become distant and aloof. Because narcissists tend to struggle with intimacy due to the vulnerability that intimacy brings. They fear feeling flawed or inadequate, so the withdrawal of attention and affection helps them to avoid situations and conversations that might make them feel emotionally exposed. So the little minor rejections prevent the development of true intimacy and closeness, and it keeps the relationship superficial and under their control. Secondly, in the early stages of a relationship, there tends to be a lot of idealizing the partner and the wonderful future they'll have together. The idealization phase, however, tends to be unsustainable and they can't keep up their performance for too long. As soon as the partner starts to show any signs of independence or maybe fails to meet their unrealistic expectations, the devaluation phase begins. Now, openly, they might withdraw, criticize, belittle, and withdraw affection. And this devaluation serves as a form of emotional abandonment, and it causes the partner to feel confused, anxious, and desperate to return to the idealization phase. Next, the emotional withdrawal could be due to envy. For instance, if the partner has some good news, such as maybe a promotion at work, Or maybe they've been praised somehow for their efforts somewhere else. Sometimes, even though they may try, narcissistic people can't hide their envy and their resentment. It can come out as displeasure, disinterest, disconnection, and so on. And the emotional withdrawal serves to undermine their partner's confidence. It also redirects their focus back to the narcissist. Another reason can be due to the disagreeable nature of narcissistic people and their all or nothing thinking. They like to feel as if they're in control, so if they're being kind, compassionate, they're paying attention, it has to be on their terms. When the partner wants or needs something in their mind, it could feel as if the partner has control, is making them be attentive. Narcissistic people tend to struggle with the concept of give and take. Another common motivation for those little rejections, and possibly the most common reason, is they are to help maintain and control power over their partners. They leave partners worried, anxious, because they aren't outright ignoring the partner. It's not like it's the silent treatment or anything, nor are they leaving or threatening to leave them. They're just being distant, distracted, and often without explanation. And the partner receives inconsistent attention. One day they're affectionate and loving, the next they're preoccupied, distant, or indifferent. And they want the partner to be concerned for them, to test their devotion, maybe see what they'll try to do to make them feel special, to win them back. And by keeping their partners in a state of emotional turmoil, worry, and uncertainty, the narcissistic person ensures that they remain the focal point of their partner's attention and efforts at all times. And this dynamic allows the narcissist to dictate the terms of their relationships and ensure that their needs are always prioritized. Now, if the partner communicates feelings of being ignored or neglected, the narcissist might accuse them of being far too needy, only thinking about themselves, lacking empathy, because that poor old narcissist has so many important things to worry and be concerned about. Again, this creates both anxiety and insecurity in the partner, who then tries harder to please the narcissist without asking for anything in return, and it reinforces the narcissist's control. And lastly, they could be distant just because they're bored. They've chased the partner, they caught their attention, seduced them, now they have them, they're done. They might not have time to engage fully with their partner because they're already thinking up new schemes, new people to chase. The partner's attention and validation is no longer enough, yet they are still of some value, so they keep them around with little breadcrumbs of affection and attention. So to summarize, narcissistic people can engage in small little acts of withdrawal, abandonment, and rejection towards their partners in a variety of different ways and for different reasons. But the partners are often left confused. They know they haven't necessarily done anything wrong, and yet they are still feeling rejected. Now, they might try to ease the narcissist's mind, reassure them somehow, only to be rejected further. Or they might respect that there is something going on and think that narcissistic person needs some space, only to be accused of withdrawing or lacking empathy for not paying enough attention. And the little mini rejections create anxiety and insecurity in the partner, who maybe tries harder to please and reassure the narcissist, and this reinforces the narcissist's control and leaves them in a state of insecurity, uncertainty, and anxiety with no idea of the right thing to do. So that's just a few examples of how narcissistic people withdraw and disconnect from their partners, and some of the reasons why. But as always, if there's anything I've missed, anything you'd like to add, please feel free to use the comment box. There are always some interesting conversations start from these videos. But if you find this topic to be interesting, please consider subscribing, and until next time, thanks for watching.